What is up, Kim's fam? Kim's on back with you. And welcome back to whatever I put this idea behind. Um, so I wanted to do an episode today talking about something that has ground my gears a little bit this week. And that is portions that stores put inside something. Now, I'm not saying that there shouldn't be um, portion control because, especially like in America, there is a lot of issue with people being overweight. So that's what I'm saying. I have no problem with there being like smaller things, but let it reflect. I think this is mainly coming from a complaint that I have that has come up this week where for roughly the same price, Maddie and I bought there's an ice cream sandwich brand. I don't know if it's international, but in America at the least, called Fat Boy. And most people have had them. They're the kind of squarish, good-sized ice cream sandwiches, which ice cream in them generally. Well, they have what's called a Fat Boy Junior, and it's roughly, at least where I live, the same price for a 18-pack of Fat Boy Juniors as it is for a 12-pack. I believe it's a 12-pack of the normal size Fat Boys. And the Fat Boy Juniors are about a third the size and half of the thickness. Which I get why it's a junior thing. But it's a little frustrating that it costs the same amount for what basically amounts to the same amount, if not a little less, in ice cream and in cookie cracker, outsides. And companies doing that really just annoys me. I kind of feel that way with chips a little bit. I feel like either put more chips in the bag or make the bag smaller. I don't think a chip bag should be filled all the way to bursting because then there's no cushion to protect the chips and it's hard to get them open without spilling them everywhere. But I don't think that they should only be basically the equivalent of what's in one of the little snack packs. I think that's kind of ridiculous. Like Doritos doing that makes me upset because honestly, to get enough Doritos to satisfy me, I always get the party-sized Doritos bag. I think that the only chip company that I've seen do it mostly right is Pringles, and their chips are specially designed to fit into each other. So that's kind of the cheating way of doing that. But I do find myself continually frustrated by, like, you're expecting a certain amount in something and then you don't get it. And I think this is just kind of like a first world problem of a mom to obese person. um, but I don't mean it from a healthy eating standard wise. I just mean it from the fact that, you could make packaging smaller and drop the price of whatever it is you're making just by a little bit. Some things just $1 or $2 can make a difference. I know that there's probably one or two things I'd be more likely to buy multiple of if they weren't so expensive, for example. And if I felt like, hey, I can get satisfaction from getting 2 of these, and not feel guilty for getting 2 of them because I should only be paying for one, and there's just not enough. the main thing I run into that with tends to be background noise is going to show up. Tends to be the ice creams, the chip bags. I feel like it decreased the amount of cheese whiz inside of Easy Cheese, which is the cheese whiz brand that I use. It feels like there's not as much in there as there used to be, but the cans have stayed the same, and the price has only gone up. And I expect prices to fluctuate a little bit. You know, inflation exists and all that. But, with some things, it just feels like it's a very disproportionate inflation. But I've also felt this way too about some non-food products as well. I feel like for as much as our society puts a staple on clothing, and with the ease with which we mass produce it now, and take no mistake, I have no problem getting synthetic clothing. Like, that's not a problem for me. So, like, I'll get stuff that can be cheaply mass produced. Why the cinnamon toast fuck does it cost $20 to get 10 pairs of underwear when you know they make them by the thousands? And probably, for the most part, machines doing it all. So it's not like they're even paying a person to do it. It's just kind of ridiculous. Because, you know, I occasionally have had times where, you know, I've had to go and buy new underwear because, like, I need to get out of storage, and I didn't go over to the storage unit, and, you know, it's like, well, now I need to get a set of underwear because I need to have, you know, my problem a lot was, like, I'd snag them. Occasionally, they'd just get disgusting because of, like, having to lay on my back, you know, getting between tires, trying to chain up in the snow. You know, life of a truck driver. It's just, and then, you know, at times, getting into my later teens and, you know, into the truck driving bit, and the fact that my weight has gone up and down, occasionally seeing, should I get a different size, what have you. And it's kind of annoying that sort of thing happens. That, you know, it's so fucking expensive to get. It's just kind of ridiculous. And of course, the bigger your clothes need to be, the more expensive they're going to be. And for a lot of people, especially a lot of the people I've known in my area of the country that are bigger people, somehow also tend to be the people who can't afford to get the expensive clothing. And that's just kind of a mess. Like, I'm just flabbergasted in general why clothing is so expensive to even get. Especially when, like I was saying, most of it we mass produce. I also kind of feel this way about, let's talk about technology for a minute, because actually I want to bitch about this. SD cards. Because, contrary to popular belief, we have the ability to store massive amounts of data on something that's very, very tiny. And the fact that it costs ridiculous amounts for what basically amounts to the smallest possible amount of space we can put on this tiny ass device. I'm talking about SD cards. That's where this is going. It's bullshit. Like, we should not even still be selling 8 gig micro SD cards. It shouldn't be a thing. Because, I've had a 512 gigabyte, so a half a terabyte micro SD card. Why are we still making super duper tiny ones? Now, I get they cost some to make, and I'm willing to grant that, but on the flip side of that, if it's costing you the same amount to mass produce 5,000 of them, as the math out goes out to like 10 of them, then the price ain't gonna hurt you. If anything, it's gonna get people to buy more. I mean, maybe I'm the weird one in having very many micro SD cards, but like, it strikes me that you're more likely to get more out of it if it's cheaper and people are more likely to get it. This is something that constantly confuses me with the way technology goes. Because the real secret into getting people to get your shit is not to sell it for top dollar. I mean, they're obviously, Apple has proven that they can still get away with selling it with top dollar. But I feel very certain that if the iPhone was $500 or $200 when it came out, its sales would have been triple what they were. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be. It had a whole bunch of things going for it. Integration with iTunes stuff, and iPods were becoming really popular. I'm talking about like the first iPhone, like the start of the smartphone era was upon us, and they had all that stuff going for them, and if people could have afforded to get them without going on contract, which I know a lot of phone companies prefer people to do because they make more money off you on contract. Contrary to the things people like to believe, you end up spending overall a little bit more than what anything is actually worth when you enter into a contract like that. Now, for a lot of people, it's the only way they can afford it because they don't have $600 or $1,000 to drop on a phone. But on the flip side, making it so people could own their phones and go to any carrier, a lot more people probably would have done the extra, let's save, $100 from this check and $100 from that check and go buy a phone. And, they would have had more all-out sales and trade-ins. They would have had probably, greater numbers of the general population worldwide buying them. I know that kind of is more turning into the price of things than anything. But yeah, I get upset with the data storage devices. I think it's ridiculous that it cost me like $100 to get a. I mean, I guess for me, here's the thing. For me, purchasing an external hard drive was worth it. But the fact that for half the cost, I could get a 1 terabyte hard drive. I have a 3 terabyte external hard drive. I got a 1 terabyte external hard drive to copy my mom's computer, so I could get all of her stuff off, because she wanted I and my sister to work on publishing her works posthumously, and my sister's in the midst of editing some of them right now. I've got a few that I cherry picked, but I don't know if, ever, when they would be prepared. Um, but anyway, so I went and did that because there was also like a bunch of family pictures and music she was giving me and stuff. I actually made that copy before she went to the hospital, because she was having problems with her computer and wanted to do a backup anyway. So I made that copy, and that hard drive cost me $50, which isn't too bad of a price for a hard drive. But it was like 100 or 120 or something like that for my 3 terabyte hard drive. And I'm like, I don't mind if that is the standard. But after that, discovering that I could get a half terabyte micro SD card for less than I paid for my 1 terabyte external hard drive, and that was nowhere near proportion, is really frustrating. Because I want to say I only saw that 512 for like, and maybe there was a sale on, but I only saw it for like $25, $30 maybe. And it was like, I mean, at least then I guess it might equal out to, it had to have been less than that. It might have been 25. I guess I'm not thinking about it too clearly because it does equal out. But then again, if we can put that much memory on a micro SD card, why are we not selling 50 terabyte hard drives? Because believe me, I could use a bunch more external storage space. I might be unique in that, but like I could use a bunch more external storage space. I could install games and stuff, and some of the games that I have yet to get to install because I've got too much other stuff on the hard drive. Like 80 gigabytes plus. Like, I will never end up playing Ark because until I have a computer with a multi-terabyte hard drive, I'm never going to have the space. The base game for Ark is like 128 gigabytes. I run a bunch of stuff. I know I'm the odd one there because I keep a lot of odd things at the fingertips in case I want to use them. And that does make me an odd one because a lot of people will be like, "Oh, I'll just reinstall this later." Yeah, no, I don't like doing that. But like, I'm wanting to get into other stuff. I'm wanting to get into 3D modeling and stuff, and those assets. If you're going deep into stuff, those assets can take up a lot of space. Now I know that I can zip files and stuff, but it would be much easier if that wasn't necessarily necessary. I also think we could probably do a lot better at like giving quality in stuff when people buy stuff. Like, I feel like a lot of the time in buying a new computer, which is why I want to get a custom built one the next time you get one, you get shorted in one way or another. Like, you might get the new graphics card, but you get a crappy processor, unless you pay the exorbitant amounts. And it's really sad that like half of the price a lot of the time, maybe not always half, but quite a bit of the price that you pay for a computer these days is all grand. It's like, just out of curiosity one time, I was like, if I've got like a motherboard and stuff already, and I just want to piecemeal together, say my old desktop into upgrading and like, do a new build, um, it costs less than half to do a pretty similar, although entirely up to date build on an Alienware. I was looking at getting an Aurora. I'm still looking at getting a custom built Aurora, a laptop this time. I'm thinking. I'm pretty sure. I think I want to do a laptop first. Anyway, um, and it was going to be like $2,400, and Xena and I priced out just like, okay, let's say I use my own gateway, or I just like go to Goodwill and get a gutted computer and just replace the parts with the things that I wanted in the new one. And total price, I mean, we bargain shop a little bit, but the total price at the time, just for the parts to put it back in, was $800. And I was like, wow. It's 3 times the price to have someone else build it for me. And I get that there's like other people's labor involved, and you know, the shipping and handling, I'll grant that, but it feels like you're paying like $1,000 just for the price of the thing, which is kind of silly if you ask me. And on the tech front, I guess I can talk about games doing it. Now, I'm not going to be as harsh to the games because, for the most part, like, in-dev development stuff has been an ongoing thing. And I can appreciate when game developers, even when they say, oh, hey, this is the full game, will oftentimes patch in updates and DLC and stuff. And I guess I'll take a first pot shot. It is a game that is near and dear to my heart, and I played it before any of the updates the first time around. So please take it with a grain of salt, because I love the game to pieces. And that game is No Man's Sky. I was hyped for it when it came out. I love it to pieces, but I was so disappointed in it after it came out. And it's definitely, that is a scenario where, you know, at least eventually they did turn around and update the game. I haven't actually gotten to play it recently, because I bought it on PS4, and my PS4 has been in storage for 3 years. So I haven't really had the opportunity to play it for quite a while. But things of that nature, where it's like you really should have included more in this game before you shipped it out to the public as a fully completed game. I think that it's just, I mean, at least it didn't make anybody pay for that, for the update anyway, because that would have been ridiculous. Like, I hate how EA handles the Sims franchise. It's like, can't you just get, I mean, I'm sure there is a season pass that exists, but it's like, can't you just get this thing and then get DLC for it, or like a discount on the DLC for having it? It's just, I don't like the way EA microtransacts stuff. And I'm speaking as someone who bought the DLC to, what's it called? Jedi, what was it? Fallen Jedi? Fallen Jedi. Jedi Fallen Order. I bought the DLC on it that gives you like the Wally skins which honestly is kind of weird that that's a thing, but I like it. It's a fun little bit. But yeah. Trying to think. Um, I think definitely. Oh, do I really want to pluck this apple? I guess I can. I can rag on Minecraft a little, which, in its defense, is a um, infinite dev, I guess is the best way to describe it, game where it's infinitely in development. It's probably never going to be fully. Uh, I'm sure they'll say this is the full game when they decide to abandon it. But as of right now, it's a eternal cash cow that they will keep milking until there is literally nothing else. But that being said, there were some changes that really they could have packed in and released with the full versions that, for the most part, had been done, but they just decided that, oh, we're not going to do it. I mean, at least, again, Minecraft's one that you don't pay for the upgrades, but oh gosh. If you had to pay every time Minecraft updated, nobody would be playing it. But I definitely feel like, for instance, we didn't need what ended up being 1.71, 1.72, and 1.7. I guess 7.3 was okay. But like, couldn't you just have worked on it a little more and then bundled it up as like 1.7.5? Like, what would have been wrong with that? It would have been a lot nicer just to bundle it up into smaller breakdowns. Where we're getting to the point where we're going to have 5-digit long updates probably soon if Microsoft doesn't decide to just add in a decimal point. Because like now we're at like 1.20.1 or something. It's like, I don't actually know what the current version is. I think that really they need to do some. How do I want to put this? They need to iron out some, like, do I want to say compatibility with the game? I mean, I get that, like, Microsoft doesn't necessarily like that there's a modding community, even though they don't want to totally nix the modding community because they understand that's a huge reason why Minecraft's so popular. I guess my feeling about it is, like, that maybe they could do a little more to add automatic integrations to make it easier for, like, say, different mods to interact in the base game without, like, having, oh, you can't use this mod because it crashes because this biome is taken over. I think they changed biomes to be different in the newest versions of the game. I know they also had to, like, screw around with the vertical recognition of biomes as well. For like defining lush caves and mountains and all sorts of shit. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like why did we even get 1.10.2? Like, what happened? Why was it necessary? I don't even remember what happened in 1.10.2. Aside from maybe a couple bug fixes going on that. But it's like we kind of just wasted a whole Minecraft version, and then all of a sudden, oop, we're on 1.12.2. Where did 1.11 even go, people? It is kind of. I guess there was a 1.11, wasn't there? I don't even remember what happened in 1.11, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna try to get this out soon. We'll see how soon it goes out. I've been trying to do a little bit of a backlog and kind of feeling miserably. Uh, I want to get everything back up and running again soon. I want to get a couple of Contest of Champions and stuff out as well that I've been kind of neglecting. I've had a lot of stuff going on and dealing with a lot of personal stuff, so it's been difficult. And when it hasn't been difficult for that kind of reason, it's been difficult because I really want to record with somebody else to bounce off of, and I've been sorely disappointed lately, aside from our recording session with Liam. But that's Maddie, Liam, and I, and actually we really haven't gotten to talking about much as far as I've recorded so far. Um, is stuff that I pointedly want to talk about, because things keep happening. The week they don't start together every Tuesday, for most Tuesdays. So, um, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my stuff. If you do, please make sure to slap that like button and let us know that you did. Um, don't forget to support the channel and everything I do over on Patreon, patreon.com/KeepZenLP. And if you don't want to be a patron, but you would like to contribute a small net to the channel, you can also one-time donate via Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/KeepZenLYT. And for the record, the money that goes from the Streamlabs donations is going to be used to upgrade my stuff. I'm working on building a website so that I can show my goals, my incentives. I'm going to start doing incentives here soon, where donating, say, every time you donate $5, I will straight up on camera do a Bean Boozled bean, or hey, if you donate $15, I'll if the pack has it and I'm playing Minecraft, I'll set down a D20 and open it, right where I'm standing, regardless of where that is. Which, as some people know, can be extremely destructive. But yeah. Keep your eyes out for more content as things go forward. And I'm also thinking about doing a little sideshow, completely unrelated to either Xen-Time podcast or to the upcoming Transformers podcast that I don't want to say yet, just in case anybody tries to steal it before we're ready to start putting it out. Doing little recap reviews or something. If you guys have ideas for a good name for that, let me know. Yeah. I'll catch you guys later. Don't spell show out. I'll see you soon. Peace.